last class in this introductory course of Java. The main aim has been to show you how to practically get started with Java. That means you are able to at least write a little code. And the easiest way has been doing that using an IDE like NetBeans. So showing you how to install Java, having NetBeans, being able to write an initial interface program, make it run. That has been our focus. So being a good teacher, we are trying to see how to ensure you can do a small quiz. So after the course, for today, we'll be able to give you a small quiz that we'd want people to try and do. So today's lesson is about tying it all together so that we have something which looks like it doesn't work. If you've noticed with my coding, there are days I'll write something, run, it doesn't function, delete. At times I may have to go to web and read. And that's how programming works. There's a joke they say when they show in the movie somebody programming, they're just busy hitting the keyboard. Most of the time the programmer is just sitting like this, reading the web, seeing how the code will work. So there is more thinking than there is typing on, banging on the keyboard. For the exam, I am told that there is some bright students, they did not want to do some exams, so they arrived and then they tell the lecturer that they got late and the car had a puncture. So the lecturer told them to be there the next day. So they went and read overnight. They had a party before. So when they came, they said the reason they were late is they went and the car had a puncture. So the lecturer said the exam, there were 4 students, they were each given a paper. They were told to sit in different classes. They gave their phones. The exam had only one question. After you write your name and your ID, the exam wrote which tire had the puncture. It was multiple choice. We'll have a fast simpler exam. So to get started, we'll pick up, so we are trying to put together the 2 examples that we did. The first one of adding the items and saving. So we'll review that and then show you how the 2 work so that you save the things you enter. So this is what we have. If I show you from the design, this is what we have from the design. So if we run this now, where we had reached is where you could write an item name, the quantity and the price, and then that would compute and add it to the table. So what we want to do is keep this data in a saved file. We'll do that by converting this data to JSON, and we'll not use a library. We will just mostly JSON will make an assumption that you will put the data will be in quote. So if you are to use that as a JSON object, we'll display the JSON object on the text area before. So the 2 buttons that we wrote for reading and writing a file are here with the last class code. So I've added this button JSON. just remove it and re-add it. Just click on the button and then click here, then change the name. Then we get the action. So when you get the action, so we will do first, every time you click the button, so before the JSON, every time you click on the compute button, if we go to that code, for the text, we'll change the text. You see this line item. Instead of the way we were storing it, we will store it separately. We will store it as item, and then, so I'll create a second line. I'll call it a JSON line. So the JSON line would be the top line. I'll just need the item, the quantity, and then I will I'll have to add an item at a time. So the first one we'll do is we'll add a field name. So I can still call it item name. I can even put it like this as a space. Then I put a colon, and then I will put need to put a backslash. So to make it a double quote, I have to escape that and put it like that, like this. And then on this other end, I need to escape and put that. So I'd repeat the same sequence. So on the new one, I'd put I'd add the split with a comma, so I'd add the quantity. To simplify, I can just remove the double quotation. In real, if you are doing a real JSON implementation, that would be necessary. But because we'll have the delimiters of the column and the comma, we can simplify that. If you are writing the code in real life, you'd use a JSON object. But it's nicer to first understand the concept of the JSON. Then would have it like this. Each of the objects that we create, so we do a new line at the end. JSON line appended. So if we run that quickly, then what would have is when you load when you compute, I put that in bracket, so the sugar quantity price. So this is our basic form of a JSON. And what then we'd want to do is be able to save what is here. So we replace the text we were typing and would save what we display. And then now when we read it, we'd want to read and load it to the table. So to save, because we are displaying the data there, I can go to design and expand our view window. Can move some of these items up. So when it comes to writing, the code to write, I'm reading the data from the text area and writing on my file. So now the file will have the data that is written. Then when I read the data, I'm reading the data again from that file, and I am placing the text to the text area. These to pick from the code that we've done. So if I run, I can be able to show you that quickly with sugar. So you notice the configuration. So if I write that to file, so I have written that data to file, I can close that, then run. So what we want to do is being able to read. You see, when I read, I'm able to display the items. So what I want to do is be able to read these and be able to get the items and populate the table. So I'll use this JSON that I can move the button so that it's on the corner. I can write this instead of write. I can change the name to save. So on the JSON here, so what I'd be able to do is I'd get this text. So I'd read the because you can have JSON written as one long block, so you can be able to also break it at the border crossing of the character square bracket and comma. So you create a string array, my lines equals to my data split, and then you want to split it at the cross and comma. So that's where you want to split. Then you want to now do a for loop for this data, then see how it does. So you can do a string my line. I can change this, and you can do a system of out print line out. I can do a brace for that, so I can be able, again I said when you start this you keep writing the code. So if you read, then you're able to look at the JSON, and then you see the output. So you see we'll have the first item, and then we'll have the second item listed there. So among the things we will do is replace the first bracket, and then again split the items into three. So we are basically just doing a split. If you get a JSON library, this will be done for you. So you do string my so you get my line, and then you can replace the opening bracket with now item, and then you can split that with a comma, and then you do a for loop, and because we did this, you can be able to replace on this the new line. So we'd have string items, again I just system out so that you're able to see the output. Quickly save and run that. So we are able to read the file, do the JSON command, at the bottom here, let me expand this so that you're able to see. So you see I'm picking the line, then I'm breaking the item name, the sugar, the quantity. So we want to pick the individual items, and then what we want to do is load it on the table array. See the way we did the table array here. We can initialize the data vector. So we want to copy that. Gotten lost a bit on the this one, so I can click back. I'm able to click on this code. So we want to initialize the vector before the loop, and then what will happen now here is we further split these into two. And to split it at the semicolon. At the colon. So we'll do an if statement. So if the first array, the first item equals item name, then we should load we add the data row with the item name, but then that will be the second data item. And then I can do the same for quantity and price. And then now for the third item, it means when we finish computing this, we are essentially supposed to put in the last row being the total. So I think the easier thing I can be able to do now, so that I don't convert this and is I can put the total into the save data. In an ordinary database, you'd not do the total because you can recompute it, but I think that will take a bit the time of, we don't have so much time. So then you add that row here. So for when you look through the lines, so that for every line you read and you load, so once you load that, then you'd come and refresh. You'd come again and refresh. So I need to put in, when I save, I need to put in the total. So I add here the comma, total, then add the line total. So that will entail me, so we run. Again, it's very kawaida for you to run and get a bunch of errors. So you see it now, oh, okay, on the total, I've seen like now the error is I have not put the semicolon. So when I run this, then so I'm able to see the data on my table. I see what I'd call a JSON equivalent. I can be able to save this, and I can be able to read it back, and I can be able to make it. Oh, okay. See the way I've done with JSON. I have to go correct the code. You see, I'm doing the items, so I need to change that into the first. As I'm doing this, I can already start to give you. So this, I need to get the second item of the array, which is 1. So I can be able to read. So I read that, then JSON. And my data is there, as you can see, beautifully arranged back. And for the exercise I'd like you to try and do is to create a very simple personal planner. You'd want, I think we are doing end of year. I encourage everybody to start to do their vision boarding, their retrospective of the year. So you can create a very simple planner where you are able to put in your items, save them, and be able to load. So very simple. Again, in coding, there are no one way of coding. I can rewrite the same code I have written here in 40, 50 different ways, which also makes coding an artistic item. There's a part of code which is artistic, and no code is ever the same. They say you can even tell the fingerprint of a coder. So thank you so much for joining us for this last class. Keep subscribe on our channel, because we have more classes on things like Excel. Next year, coming up with way new classes of different things in Java, from doing web crawlers to many different interesting short topics that I'm sure you will enjoy. With that, ladies and gentlemen,